mic is off. Good afternoon, everyone. It's good to have you all again. I'm glad to be here. How you are doing? Can somebody confirm if I'm audible? Hello.
Good afternoon. Yes, you are.
Okay. Thank you so much. I was just going through some assignments. At least I have over half people submitted already. I can see I saw some that made me impressed though. Nice one. I'm not done going through everything. If you have not done yours, please let's lay our hands on that. You can't learn by just looking. You have to really get your hands doing it. That's how to learn. Before today, I sent the document of what we'll be doing today, right? So as when we get to that section, I'd like us to download those things I sent. Measure of spread. Come back to that later, right? So download start with the I think some of you are having challenge. I don't know if you're able to overcome that challenge. So we'll start with solving that previous one at least. Then move to preparing data. Then move to sorting. If time permits, we'll take more. But if there is in time, I'll give like 10 minutes before that rounding up time. So for questions, I don't just want to rush up things and so let's get started. I will let me open up a new okay, I've done that. Let me share my workbook, my Excel workbook. So let me rename it so that I can be able to trace the one we are using for this class. Save it here. Just save it as class 2 Excel. Right. All right. So back to the question. So I sent a text document, population of female in a parliament, I guess, some representing some countries, not all countries anyway. So I'll start with importation. Many of us we are familiar with just opening up this way. All right. Let me say browse and search for. I think the name of the data was female representative. I guess. Okay, this is it. I think I sent 3, right? Yeah. So you can see if you follow this process of opening, you can see it is not well organized. So we just have to, I'll delete the whole of this because I don't want. So I'll take the importation again. So to import, I'll go to data, right? Then which type of file am I importing? I'm importing text file since I'm dealing with, if you are dealing with either CSV file or TXT file, right? You should use this icon here from text. So I'm going to click on from text and I'll choose the file again, which is this. Then it's going to open the import wizard. So I know my file is delimited, right? With either comma tab or whatever delimiter is using. I know my file has header, right? Look at this first row here contains my header. All right. So when I click on next, so you can see it has splitted up my data. So I just have to inspect this and see what are the separators there or delimiters. Take note that the first from Kenya to Sierra Leone was correctly splitted from country and year. If you go down, you notice from Nigeria, the delimiter gets different. So the delimiter is no more comma anymore, it becomes semicolon. I just have to check this semicolon. Now it has correctly splitted that. So I'll scroll down again to see for any inconsistencies. Oh, I guess this is okay now. Then I'll click on next. Then I can just leave this, right? This as the way it is, general, and I'll click on finish. I can say use the existing worksheet. Oh, I can just correct this by deleting, right? That's because I've imported before and just delete this too. Okay, so shall we now go to the questions? So I'll be checking the questions from the group, from the WhatsApp group. All right. So the first question says, where is it again? Oh, I can't find it. It's not popping up. Okay. I think I'm getting there. All right, I've seen the question. So the first question says, what is the average proportion of seats held by women across these countries? So we are talking about the average across all the whole countries, right? Oh, sorry, I don't know. Did you guys see what I was doing so far? I think I was working in different sheets. Hello?
No, but
You can see the sheet I worked on not quite long. Or is it empty?
It's empty. It's empty. I was about to say that, but I
Okay.
actually thought it's my network.
It's not. It's not. It's actually opened another. It's not the sheet I'm displaying that it's opened up.
Yes,
So
yes.
did you get
What
the
is my
process
network?
I gave? Let me just stop
I
sharing and
saw
I'll share
connection.
again. It opened a new sheet and I'm sure it's not going to automatically detect that. So did you get this? I'm sure I explained this. Like, but if you have any question, please just ask. No questions. We all understand how to get to this, right? Okay, good. So, first question, average. Now, since this is a very small data set, we can actually do all our solutions here. But if you're working with data sets more larger in observations and variables, you wouldn't want to work on this same sheet, right? Because it can really mess up your data very well. So let's keep that, even though this is a small data, let's keep that in practice. I'll create a new tab and I'll just say my analysis. Just call this my analysis. Right. Um, Sorry, to be sure that I'm sharing this the original sheet. Let me do that again because I don't want. Okay, so I've named a new tab, a new worksheet, my analysis, right? So the first is average woman, right? So I'll click and just drag this so I can contain average woman across, right? Let me broaden that. So to find the average, right, we use the average function equals to average. So when I click on this, now notice there are two Okay, there are more than two anyway, but average and average A, just slight difference between the two. If you are using average, it's not going to count or take into consideration empty cells, right? For instance, let me go back here. For instance, I have an empty row here, right? Now, if you use average A, it's going to take this as 0. So it's going to sum this up and divide it by 13, since we have 13 rows, right? But if you're using average, it's not going to take these empty cell into consideration. So that's the difference between average and average A, right? But in this case, I don't have empty. So I'll just come back, go to my formula and complete the formula. Equals to average, right? Now from here, I know that the proportion is from cell C2 to C12. So I'll open up from cell C2, right, to C12. Then I will close this. Okay, I kind of have an error in my formula. I'll do that again. So equals to average. Go to my sheet, then select the range, close my, and then hit my enter key. So the average is about 27, 0.27, right? But let's put this in percentage so that you can have it tally with the way it is recorded. So if I click on this icon, or perhaps you can also do it from here by just coming here and choose percentage, right? Isn't it? So if you do this, or other ways to do that is to just hit on this icon here. Once you hit on this icon, that's 27%. But I'll just use this. Okay. Right. First question answered. So the second question says, what is the range of proportion? So I know many of us, some message mean that range is not the same thing as highest and lowest. Yes, it is the same thing. It is the same thing. Okay, I'm trying to read. It is the same thing, but range is the difference between the two. That is, you subtract highest and lowest. So let's take this as range, bold it, right? So I'll say equals to max, right? Then go to where my sheet is, select this, right? Close, go back to my this. Oh, it's actually completed by itself, equals to max, then minus the mean, right? Then I'll open a bracket. Please look at my formula bar. That's why before I'm typing my formula. Then select the whole of this as well and close my formula bar, then hit my enter key. So the range is about 0.5. Let me put this in percentage. So 58% difference at least. That's the range. That is from the between the highest and the lowest is about 58%. We all know what range is in statistics. So and the usefulness of that. Let's see how high or how low our data is. Okay, now the next question. Please can you just help me with the next question? Moving through tabs is not that easy as it is. So what's the next question? It says, is there a significant difference in proportion of seats held by women in East Africa and South Africa? So the first question you ask yourself before you answer this is that what are the countries in South? What are the countries in East? Right? All right, I've made my own research before the class. So the countries in South Africans in that data set, there are two. They have the South Africa and the Namibia, right? Why the countries in um, in Eastern, right? Am I correct? Let me go back to that question again. In Eastern Africa are three. And what are they? They are the Kenya, Rwanda, and Uganda. So those are the two, right? So the question says we should find the difference in proportion. Okay, what I will do first, I will create East, just say East African proportion, right? We're bolding this. So to get the East African proportion, I'm going to use filter, although there are several ways to do that. You can use lookup. Okay, I don't think that's the best way might be to filter anyway. So to filter our data set, there are two ways. I can just come to country and go to my data tab, then hit the filter, right? Once I hit the filter, hello, please, are people with me? Hello. All right. I hope
Hello,
you
sir.
can all see. Yes, I hope you can see the sheet I'm working on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can see it.
All right. All right. So now that I've hit the filter, then I will come here, unselect all this, and let's start with Eastern, right? So what are the Eastern? We have Kenya, Rwanda, Uganda. So I'm going to check those three. I'll select Kenya, Rwanda, and Uganda, right? So when I do this, I only have three of the data sets. So go back to my analysis worksheet, then I can just say the difference in I can get the average of this average proportion of women in the Houston for my data set, then equals to average AVE. Then check, double click on this, come here, then hold my control key, select these three, right? Close it. Then that gives me um about 39%. Let me put this in percentage. Can come to the number group in the home tab, then hit this. So that's about 39% of women in the Eastern African from our data set. So 39% are from the East. So the next is the Southern, right? Southern Africa. Southern African prop. I'll shorten that because of I don't want to type too much. So my Southern, I have two countries, right, which are South Africa and Namibia. I'll go back here. I will remove my filter by going to the tab and hit this filter, then everything comes back. Then I'm filtering on my country, then hit on the filter, right? So I have South Africa and what again? South Africa and Namibia. So come here and unselect all these and choose South Africa, Namibia, and hit on OK, right? So let me go back to my analysis worksheet, then type my formula equal to average, right? Equals to average, then select on my hand on my control, then select this and select this. So select this rather. Sorry, I need to redo this. Come here, then select this, close it, and hit your enter. So that's about 44% are in, let me convert this to percentage. 44% are in the Southern African proportion. Wow. So as you can see, we have more women in southern from our data set than we have in our eastern, right? So what is now the difference in the two? So I'll just say the difference, let me call this south UTH versus east difference, right? So to get the difference, I can just use a formula instead of using function equals to this cell minus this cell. In this case, it will give me negative, right? But this might give me another opportunity to explain a function to you, which is absolute function. If I want absolute difference, I'll just use ABS, right? I use absolute, so it's going to give me the positive value. So about 5% difference. But if you don't want to use absolute, you can just use the bigger minus the smallest equals to this minus this, then hit my, so that's 5%, right? Either ways, but I like to just remove that stress of checking bigger minor by just using the absolute. Give me the perfect values without considering which one is whether negative or positive. So now, as you can see, there are about 5% more women in Southern as compared to Eastern. Well, it seems those countries in East in Southern uh, are more favorable to women. So, as a woman, if you want to do politics, probably you should move to the Southern Africa. You have more chances there. So, go back to my data, remove the filter. Let's go to the next question. So, the next question says, which country has the highest proportion of women in parliament? Okay, the what? The highest proportion of women in which one has the lowest? Okay, so what I would go back to my analysis sheet. So I will just call this minimum, minimum, right? So to get the minimum, I will say equals to um, mean, right? Equals to mean. Then I'll select the range of this cell. All right, in this case here, since our data is very small, there are better ways to do this anyway. There are better ways to do this, but since we are just starting, I'll use the minimum to just do that. So I have 0.03. I can just come here and check which one has 0.03. That's Nigeria, right? But I can tell you this is not the best way, because if you have a data that is very, 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 very large, you wouldn't want to be checking which one is corresponding. Soon we will get to how to do that using lookup or VLOOKUP anyways. So that is Nigeria, right? So I'll just come here and say Nigeria with a value of, wait, let me get back to this. On this Nigeria. For now, let's assume this is the best method we have, for instance. But it's not better that we are the one checking the values by ourselves. We can use the Excel to let it correspond to which country it has there. What we'll get there. So about 3% of the women that are from Nigeria. Wow, such a very low percentage. So Nigeria don't really favor women in parliament. Well, come to think of it, I think it's the reality anyways. Let's move on to the next question. Which, how, okay, let's say the lowest. Oh, that was the lowest. Let's get the highest, right? So to get the highest, can just come here and say highest. All right, let me bold in this. So I will just say equals to max, right? Equals to max, then select the range of this. Here, it's my enter key. That's about 61%. Wow, which country is this? For now, let's just look up by ourselves. 61%. Which country has 61? That's Rwanda. Wow. Rwanda has a very high percentage of women contributing in parliament. So I spelled this wrongly. Rwanda. Oops. I guess we're almost done with that. So let's move on to the next. So the next, how does the proportion in women, how does the proportion of women in parliament in this country compare to the? All right, I need to say this. This is part of the United Nations Sustainable Development Plan or so. And if you want to get note to that, I will just, it's online though. Let me just share that so I can do that because yeah.
Hello, Israel. Please, a quick question. I was following, like, as you were doing it, but I noticed something. So I have like sheet one and sheet two, and whenever I like type in the formula in like sheet two, I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. Like in the formula bar, to be like minimum open bracket sheet one, but when I go to sheet two, I don't know, it changes to sheet two instead of sheet one. I don't know if you get what I'm saying.
He's not currently on the call.
Okay.
Okay, I'm back. My apologies, my network was kind of. Please confirm if you can now hear me. Hello.
Yes,
Yeah,
we
we
can hear
can. We
you.
can hear you, sir.
All right, thank you so much. So we are about to handing up that last question. Then we'll go to today's tax. About 33 minutes gone already. So I wanted to just show you the data online, but we don't need to actually percentage of women in parliament. Don't have to actually open up the total data set. Women in parliament globally. Let's see. I was going to bring out. It's not bringing that out. Come in. So what I will just do perhaps is to say that so I actually want to just tell you that the data is online. That's what I'm trying to. So I'll say proportion of women in parliament. So proportion of women in parliament global average. So you can see it here, about 26.9%, right? Approximately 27, right? So we're coming there. So now let's now go back to the Excel and see how does it compare. I'll stop sharing this and then share my Excel worksheet. Windows, then is it again? All right, just a minute. Okay, and I'll share this. All right, that should be helpful now. So how does it compare? I'll come back here. Take note that our average across was 27. From what we searched online, it was what? Was 26 point something percent, about 20.9, right? So you can see they are approximately equal. So we can say that this data set is a good representation of the global data set. So we can say the little ones we have here is quite representing, a well representing of the whole data set globally. Right? So we can, from this little as a data set, we can make inferences on women, right, in parliament. Do you have any questions? I don't know if you understand that particular point. So I would like to round up that assignment. I think that's no question. So the last question says, are there any notable trends? For now, probably if you just want to cluster them into Eastern, Western, there's no particular trend so far, unless maybe when we get to data visualization, I'll be able to visualize some trend. But for now, I can't see any particular trends. I can only see clusters. You can see that from our clusters, right? From our cluster, we see that um, there are more women in South Africa, in South African participating in parliament than to those in the Eastern. So that's just the cluster we can talk about for now. No particular trends, right? I guess by now you are able to get the hold of what the assignment is talking about, right? And kudos to those of you that were able to at least attempt. I like your work. I appreciate your effort. You can't learn by just looking, you learn by doing. And I appreciate the effort you've put so far. Right? Good one. So today what are we talking about? Let's open up the okay, before then I sent a slide that talks about summarization. That's some counts. You can just go through it and see how much you can learn from that. But I would like to talk about, I'll start with, we start with the lab 2 point, I mean 3.4.6. You can download that because I need to be following. Most of everything I'll be saying will be coming from there. So lab 3.4.6, preparing data. And let's get our worksheet ready because you'll be following all the instructions I'll be talking about. All right. So preparing data in this lab, you will learn the basics of data cleaning, right? How to clean data. Most of the time, our data is always very messy. In real life, as I'm collecting data, data can be very messy. Why? Because in the process of collecting, probably you are using a device to collect your data, there can be error. Let's say a device that wanted to record 27% recorded 2.7 mistakenly, right? Or the person who is entering into the data typed something wrong, or did not do it properly because the data entry clerk. So there are several reasons why our data can be very messy and inconsistent. So that is what we're learning today, how to clean our data. So background scenario. Say the rapidly increasing volume of complexity of data are due to, I'm reading this from lab 2.2 point, I mean 4 point, what's it again? 3.4.6, preparing data. Please let's get our hands on it. An adoption of technologies, right? Data is in raw form is useless unless it can be cleaned and analyzed, right? To provide information that leads to information and knowledge for actionable intelligence. Business are quickly discovering that they do not actually want data itself. They want the information and knowledge that comes from the data, right? So data is not meaningful when it is just there. We have to make sense of it by cleaning it and bringing some insight from it. All right, we can use this, we can do this project with our phone, though might be stressful. The laptop will be better, right? And take note, these steps might be different. If you're using Excel version 2016, 2013, there'll be different, slightly different in to carry out, but very, very, very similar, right? So the next I sent, the last file I sent to the group was bike sales prepare lab 3.4.7 dot tsv. We can download that as well, right? So I will think I should just open it up a new blank sheet, right? Then I will share this new blank sheet. So I'm very sure it won't capture that on its own. Right, then what I will do now, I will import that file. Um, the file is the last file like bike sales I sent, right? So to import, follow the same procedure that I had followed earlier on. Then I will come here, go to my data. I don't know if this is the sheet I'm sharing anyway. I'll go to my text, select the data I want. That should be my download. So in this case, I will just choose all files. Then I will choose bike sales prepare lab 3.4.7. And I'll go to import. And I'll just do the same procedures we have been doing so far. So import. Here, my data is separated by tab, right? So take note. I don't know if you are following me, but I really need to know because it won't be fair to keep asking the question that I've explained again. Okay, let me stop sharing this and I'll share it to be sure that I'm sharing the same file screen now I'm working on. All right, good. So you can see by default tab is checked. But if you look through this, you notice that checking the tab is not the best way, right? Because if I uncheck tab, if I uncheck comma and see what is there, I guess the best is tab. It's fitting to what we are actually separating. Then I'll click on next, then finish. Then my data should be imported. New existing sheet. So I have this data already imported, right? So back to the instruction, right? Lab 3.4.6. So some might not be opening properly, so you might just need to to double check. Let's assume I have some columns that looks like this. Or perhaps mine is not showing that way though. It is fully fitted, but if yours is not showing, you can just expand this like this. It will show properly, right? So I prefer I use this to expand my. Let me just expand so like this. Then we have everything. If you are seeing ash, 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 just expand that particular column, right? So moving on, we have to review the data. Now from here, please, I need people to mic on now because I need an interactive class. Need an interactive class. So can you see any inconsistencies in this data set? What do you observe just by looking? Please, I need people to talk. Any observation? Hello?
Yes, almost.
Okay.
I
On
just
this page, I
When you
can see
observe
some
it,
are
saw
missing.
you might
one
not quickly
thing
get
that
it. Some are missing. Okay, that's a good observation. Yes. Somebody else talking? Abdulkarim, are you
oh,
there?
like there are some fields that are not filled in.
Okay, some fields are not, some cells are not filled up. All right, that's a good one. Quite well observed, right? But that's actually the one of the first step in analyzing data. You need to first of all observe and see, because you can't make sense when the data has duplicates. You might be biased, might skew our data. There might be outliers. So many things can happen. There might be data that are not well. Okay, let me just point this out. The first observation is that if you check cell A2 and cell A3, they are very, 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 very similar. So sales order, we have 2261695. So we have 261695. And if you look through, it appears they are the same thing until you get to the state, the country, right? Or the gender. So we have gender female, gender male. So I guess the person who entered this data made some mistake in the sales order. Since there are two different orders, this should be the first now correct. It should be two. This should be 96 ending. So 261696 instead of 95. So that one is corrected. One approach for us to get duplicate data is to remove them. But you have to be very, very, very vigilant. Else you are going to delete um, useful data. So in this case, tracing this, you can notice that the data are actually different data.
Sir,
Hello? Hello? Yes, go ahead.
I observed that when I import my data, sales order is not showing.
Sales order won't do what?
It's not showing on the laptop, on the screen.
It's not showing.
It's not showing. It started from dates.
Are you importing the actual data I sent? That's
Yes.
the last file I sent, c.csv.
Okay, the last one you sent this morning, Abby. Right?
Yes, .tsv, the last one I sent this morning. All right, so once you import that, you're going to see this. So as I was saying, you need to be very careful. Don't be too in haste to remove duplicate data. Make sure that they are actually duplicates. So in this case, we're able to detect that the person who entered this just entered the same order number. So we've corrected that by changing the second one to 96, which is very meaningful. You can see 695, 696, then 697. Okay. Now let's see. There are also other duplicates, but this data is large. I cannot be checking through one by one. So we are going to get the help of Excel to get the duplicate data. So how do we do that? I'm following the instruction is well detailed in the lab 3.4.6. Please open up and follow me. Let's select, since we want to check the duplicates in cell A, right? Let's select cell A. Once you select cell A, then let's go to the Home tab. In the conditional formatting group, go to the highlight cells rules, then go to duplicate values. Click on OK. Since there are also other duplicate values we have in A8 and A9, right? This actually looks duplicate, but let's confirm. Is it really duplicate? I'm going to just glance through. Oh, wow. You can see it is actually really duplicate from beginning to the end. It's duplicated. Same date, same name, same country, same price, same product description. Wow. So duplicate data has to be removed so that we have confirmed that A8 and A9 are duplicates. So we will remove one. Let's go there and see if there are more duplicates. There are no more duplicates there. All right. So these are the two duplicates we have here. All right. But in the case whereby we have many duplicates, here I can just come here and delete one by just coming and delete one. But what about there are many, many more rows that are duplicated? Am I going to be deleting it one by one? Of course, no. I'm not going to be deleting it one by one. So how do we now delete that? So to do that, let's go to the data tab. Once you go to the data tab, right, then go to remove duplicates in the data tool group. I'll take that again. Go to data tab. In the data tools group, click on the remove duplicate. So when I do that, as you click on this, then it says remove duplicate, expand the selection, continue with current selection. All right, so I'll just choose I will highlight better. I highlight all my old worksheets, then come here and then I'll select which I want and just leave everything like that. Then I will go to OK. No duplicate found. Wow, that's because it couldn't find this. Better I do this. Select all. Why is it now removing? Has it been removed? Okay, I couldn't check this. Apologies. So, okay. I don't know why it's misbehaving. Continue with my current selection, remove duplicate. Then click on OK. Yes. All right. So it has removed one duplicated values from me. I don't know if you get that procedure. So it has been removed. As you can see, in A8 and A9, there are now two different values. But do you notice something? This we need to be very observant. I will undo that. It just remove that particular cell, but it did not remove the main data. So best thing for me is to just use this and do remove. That's the best, right? So now that has been removed. Questions, please. No questions. All right. So the next is
Sorry,
let
please,
us
can
find
you go?
empty.
Sorry, can you go over?
Hello, is somebody talking?
Hello, can you hear
Okay.
me? I said,
Yes, I
please,
can
can
hear
you
you now.
go over like how to check for like duplicate values and how to remove them, please?
Okay, let me undo this. So this is my duplicate values. I'll undo this again. So to check for duplicate values, what I will just do, I can highlight my whole cell by just clicking on this place here. Then go to my home tab, conditional formatting, highlight cells rules. then come down to duplicate values. Oh, it's actually highlighted everything, but I don't want to check for, I want to check only for this row. So the best thing is to just come to highlight this, then duplicate values the same way. So I can see that this particular row and this particular row are duplicated. How? Let me confirm. If you go through, same age group, same gender, same country, same price, same product description. So you can see. Now, I said there are several ways to remove duplicate. I can to remove duplicate, if I select this, perhaps let me select this only row, then go to the data tab, then in the data tools group, remove duplicates is highly visible there. If I click on this, I'll just click on continue with my current selection, right? Then choose remove duplicate. Now you need to be very, very careful in this case. The duplicate was in A8 and A9, right? Now let's confirm. Was it actually removed? Take note that it actually did not remove it, right? Did you notice? It only removed this particular row, this particular cell in A8. If you go down, you will later observe that there is one row empty. You can see at A90. You can see that there's one cell later empty. So it did not actually delete the whole row. It only removed that cell that is duplicated, right? So now I will undo that because that is not what I want. Better I select the whole row, right? Then right click and click on delete. So it's going to delete the entire row, not a particular cell, right? So that is the best option in that case. Did I answer that? Did I answer the question? Well, time is not with us. I guess I answered that question anyway. So now let's move on. To move on, I'm on lab step finding empty cells, which is step 3. Now to find empty cells, well, the version I'm using here might not follow this procedure, right? Now we can use conditional formatting to do that. I'm going to try that so that you can see I'm using version 2013. So I will highlight all, right? Go to my home tab, then go to conditional formatting, then highlight cells rules. I can't see, okay, if I go to text that contains, I can't see anything here that has blank, right? So I'll just have to cancel that because that's not the best way. But to do that, I will use the same conditional formatting, right? I will go to new rules, I click on new rules, right? Then I will use formula to determine the cells that are empty. That will say equals to blank, A-N-K, open bracket, then select, let me say I want to select this O cell. You can see how I selected this O cell, then I'll close this and hit my OK. I don't think I have anyone that is blank. You can see I don't really have any blank cell. Now that is step first method to do that. Another method to do that is to use the filter. Once if I click on this heading name, I go to my data and I click on filter, right? Then I can come here and check whether I have blank. As you can see, I don't have any blank as this thing here, right? I can repeat this for each and every and see if I have blank. I don't have blank. Same here too. I don't have okay, I have blank here. So let me just uncheck this and see. I need to uncheck everything. So you just select all, then I want to choose only blanks. Oops, I think I have blank here, right? So what do we do with blank data analysis? Well, depends on the kind of data or variable you are recording. If you are recording, let's say prices, if you are very sure that that particular item is important, you might want to assign it, we call it winsorizing in statistics anyway, to the last item, right? Or let's say, or you fill it with average, maybe the mean price, the medium price, whatever you want to use it to fill it up. That is for missing. Or if that is too expensive for you to take because it might be misleading sometimes, you might actually remove it. Are we together? So that is how to deal with missing value. So in this case, what do you think we should do with this missing value? What I need you to suggest. What should we do with it? How do we feel that dealing with day here? Let me remove the filter so we can see the whole data set. Oh, why is my system hanging? Please, I need response. I don't know if you can hear me, but I need response.
Uh,
I
I just
thought
want to do
the day
the whole
column is
data.
date.
Excuse me?
So yeah, the date the date is 5th.
Date is 5th, so we
Date,
can extract it from here, right?
yes,
Okay.
it's 5th.
So we can just put 5th here. Although we can use formula to check that and see what we can do. Thank you for that. I like that suggestion. So we can see the way we have been able to fill that format. It is always good to handle those analysis before we go to analysis. Now we've checked on the day. Let's check on the year too, on the month. I don't have blank here. Here I don't have blank. Now in this case, this is what we are doing is called univariate analysis. That is analyzing each of the uh, variables one on one. Although we're only checking for inconsistent. I have blank here, so I'll just uncheck this. And I have age group here. What should we do to this age group? We might not be able to take everything, but let's find. I think this is the empty cell. What should we do to this age group? All right, you might want to check a pattern and see around 27. You know what? Let me check all the data that I have 36. That is in age, customer age. I need to just see whether there's a particular trend of data there. 36. What I will do is I will uncheck everything, then check only the one I want. Probably there are more than 136 though. Okay, by now you should know what we should do. What we should do. So what should be here?
That's it.
Adult.
Adults
Response.
35 to 64.
Thank
Adult.
you. So I could just copy this and paste it here. So we've been able to correct those anomalies there. I'll remove this. Let's check for anomalies here. See if I have blank here. I have blank here too. So I'll check my blank and see. I think the blank is just generally in cell 90, I mean row 90. Let me go to row 90 and see what is happening there. Apparently the cell is just blank across everything. So that is not a problem there. Let's go to country. All right. I don't have blank here. Country, state. Do I have blank here? I don't have blank. I don't have blank here too. I don't have blank here too. I have blank here. But let's see. I might be just be 90 or 90 again though, but you don't want to leave it to chances. Let's see what is there. Oh, there is actually what column are we actually analyzing? A country, right? Was it country? Yes, country. Wasn't it? I think I
Yeah, it is
lost count of.
country. It's country after custom agendas country.
Uh, okay, yeah. Product subcategory, product description. Okay, we're on product description actually. So I'll just come here. There's a blank there anyway. But let me just. So blank, 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 blank. So let's see. Let's see if there's a trend we can follow to fill this. That's cell 22. I mean row 22. Row 22 here. Okay, I can't see anything pertaining that description. Can you suggest something we can use to fill this? So this is kind of text data, which we cannot use average, but we can see kind of follow some trend to fill this.
Probably the unit cost also.
And the unit cost, yes, we are coming there, but let's try to fill this. What should be here? Everything kind of have mountain, 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 mountain. The only difference here is the dash, the 200, 400, whatever, whatever, whatever is after. $34 to $35.
No, sir, I
Okay,
mean the unit cost. Some have two and they cost the same. They have the same price. Like I can see some that is two and they cost $1,252.
okay. Where is that? Which particular cell are you talking about? Here you meant?
Yes, yes. And the 27 row 27, I think the same thing occurred there. Two quantities and it has the same cost.
Yes, that is possible, isn't it?
Yeah, possibly.
Okay, here you are talking about his place, and so you're kind of saying that this cell should be represent here too, right? Since they cause the same thing, isn't it?
Row 27.
Row 27 here. Okay, I can see that. I can see that. So here should be one then. Am I correct? Yes, that's the pattern. Wait, this is 295. 295. This should be 500.
No, I thought something. Wait,
95.
something
Yes, that is correct.
changed just
Yes.
now.
That was a good observation there. So time is actually not with us, but let me just sacrifice today. All right. So let's quickly see quantity, right? And see no blank. Let me put all this filter together and everything so I can quantity. I think we stopped at quantity. Um Order no blank. Units no blank. No blank. Yeah, I don't have blank too. Likewise here. Oops, I guess we have been able to clean up blank and repeated records. So the next is data passing. Now, in this case, I want you to observe something. Um, if you go to the product description, let's go to the product description, right? Let me expand this a little. You notice that there is a kind of comma after mountain. There are about three kind of information being passed here. The first one is mountain dash 200, followed by color, right? then comma, then 46. Now those values after the comma, they are the sizes, right? So can we separate the size from the description? Can we? Yes, we can. So to separate size, first of all, let's create an empty column. I'll just right click here, then click on insert. Let me name this to size. So to now do this, I'll select this, and I'll do text to column under the tab, data tab. If I say text to column, I will then follow this wizard by just clicking next, delimited. So what is separating? It is separated by comma, right? So I'll choose comma, then click on next, then click on finish. Data, do you want to replace it? Yes. Now, can you see we have these sizes separated by what? From product description. Did you get that right? Hello? I guess you are busy working, right? Or you are not with me anymore? Why the
We are
mute?
with
Why
you,
is
sir.
everyone muted? Hello?
We are with you. We are with you actually. But was that command taken on the same? Well, I'll try to get on it. We are with you.
Hello?
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
I can't hear anybody. I think someone is trying to talk, but I
I'm
can't hear.
hearing you, and we are responding. Hello,
We can hear you.
can hear you.
Olutunsi Mofus, I think you are trying to say something, but I can't hear you. I just need to verify if I'm still online. Please. Can somebody just respond?
Yeah, online, yeah. So I said it was since the command was taken, then this thing was not recorded, but
What's
it's all right.
going
I'll try
on?
to take it. Are you hearing me?
Should we end the class?
Hello, sir. Are you hearing us?
Can you hear us, sir? I don't think you
Hello.
can hear us.
Wow.
See for me.
But
Oh,
hello.
I don't think you can hear us. Probably network issues from his end.
okay. I can hear you now. I can hear you.
Uh,
I can hear
Okay,
you.
sir.
So did you get what we did so far?
Yes, sir.
How
We
we
did.
separated the size from the product description.
actually, I wasn't able
All
to
right.
get
Yes, sir.
the
We did.
command. So I'll
You
ask
see,
her.
okay, I will undo, right? So first of all, I deleted this. Okay, actually, this one it will actually autocorrect anyway. Let me delete it. So I'll click on this particular column I want to split. The 46, 42, 46, or whatever, after the comma signifies another information. The person who collected the data just merged everything together, right? Put them description and the size, right? So to do that, I go to my data tab from text to column, right? Then follow the wizard. My data is delimited by comma, right? Separated by comma, I meant. Then finish. Then click on here. So we can see it is separated. So I'll just rename this column as size. Good. I guess we understand that now. Okay.
Yes, yes.
All right. So the next instruction is right here. Now the next is color. Can we go ahead and separate for the color? You can see the color is also part of this thing, but let's separate it from the description. Can we separate color? All right, to do that, I'll highlight that just for practice, but it is better for the color to be with the description anyway. But let's just do separate for knowledge sake. All right, so I'll click on next. My data is not separated by comma this time, but by space. Are we together?
Yes.
separated by space. Then I'll
Yes,
click
sir.
on next, then finish. So you can say I have data. Then I can then rename this heading as color. So that's done so far here. That is how to separate that. Okay, let's move on. That will be able to do much. All right, next thing I want to do is removing extra space. Right now, when data is collected, there are sometimes um which is always or maybe when data is collected, some there are chances that empty space are being collected. Maybe we copied and paste. There are chances that empty spaces or blank spaces are being collected to it. To let us let me use a state column. I'll create a new tab after this after the state, or let me use the country. Let me use the country. Right, come here, create insert, shift cell. No, I'm not shifting the cell. I'm shifting the whole column. Right, good. Let me remove this filter. Now, one thing I want to do is let us try to get the length of um of this of each of the items there. So to get the length, we can use a function by using equal to len, right? Equal to len. I'll pick this and I'll hit my enter key. I can then drag the whole this down to fill for the remaining ones. Right? Good. So that will auto fill for the remaining cell. So we can see that the length of this text here is 13. Let's see, is it actually 13? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Well, it's 12. If you count it, it is 12. Right? United. How many letter? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. For space 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, maybe 14, right? Okay, let's see. I wouldn't know that for now, but let's try to trim it first. Now to remove empty space, right? Let's see, let me call this length. Let me say text length underscore length. And let me call this trim text. Yes, consistency is the key. I cannot be starting with capital letter, small letter everywhere. So everything is starting with capital letter. I have to put this in capital letter. So to trim that, let me say equals to trim, right? So when I say equals to trim, then select this cell and hit my enter key. Now, you know what I will do? Then I will put this and drag it down to the last. Good. Now, to see if that is actually the same length, I will copy the whole of this from here, right? Okay, I try to use a shortcut there. I'll copy the whole of this, Control Shift down, Control C, right? Then I will come here and I lie. Then in this case, I will paste values here, not the function. So I'm going to paste values. I'm going to use values option here, right? So is there any difference between the previous and the first? There isn't any difference anyways. Are we together? So if probably, you know what I would do? Let me try to add some space so that you'll be able to figure out if they are actually empty space. Because if they are empty space like this, maybe space like this, you will not be able to do some analysis. Maybe you want to um, extract some information. Your function might not be able to work properly like this. You can see I'm adding empty space to it, and take note that it is actually increasing this. If I come here now and I say um, right now I've tried to trim all this, so I'll copy this again I'll just do Control C here. Don't forget, you know how I got this? Then I will highlight this again and paste values, please. Paste values. So take note that this has reduced. It's not more 13 again. It's now 10. Are we together? But that's not what I want to do. Yes. I'm just trying to show as much example as I can to make you understand the train function and the learn function. Any question? All right, get that done. Questions, please. Questions? No questions. So I guess we all understand what we are doing. I'll move forward. Still on the lab. This thing now changing case. Now let's assume that I want to change everything here to uppercase, right? I will just delete this because it's just an illustration. I want to change my, let me add new. I want to change this country, everything to uppercase, which sometimes might be useful in change. So let me call it uppercase country, right? So the best thing just is use equal. You can use a formula for that, equals to upper. Once you say equals to upper, then I can then go equals to upper, select this particular cell and hit enter, right? You can see everything is in uppercase. So do that same for the remaining cells. You can just drag down and the remaining one will become uppercase. You can see everything is in uppercase, right? You can as well use lower, equals to lower if you want, right? And just drag down, then everything becomes lower. Please confirm if I'm still online or network have been disrupted.
You're online. You're online.
Thank you. So that is upper and lower function. All right. So the next is,
Hello, sir.
yes, go ahead.
So this upper and the upper and text and everything seems it's like some sort of a command, right? That
Yeah,
the
function.
Excel or that the Excel detects
Excel
itself.
function. Come again.
I said, is it something like after writing that, then we just put in maybe once lower or up, and then the Excel do the stuff itself since we have
Yes,
put
it will. But you
country.
must put the exactly. It will do that. It will do that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Now let's assume that we want to detect some outliers. Outliers in data. There are things that are extremely far beyond the threshold. Well, there are ways to identify outliers, statistical rules, machine learning, or whatever rules you are doing. There are several ways to do that too, statistically, anyways. But the simplest way is to use let's say you have that's using interquantile range method anyway. But I'm not going to go into all those statistical this thing here. But let's assume that zeros are far below what we want. Zeros are error, right? Let's assume that all unit prices that are zero are error because let's say there can be unit price that is zero. So we want to figure out all the unit price that are zero and then remove them, right? For instance, we have one here, but it won't be very good for us to start searching through one by one for zero. So best we use conditional formatting. So I will highlight this cell, go to Home tab, right? Go to conditional formatting, then highlight rules, right? then I can say is equal to. When I click on equal to, then I'll put type 0 here. Then it's you highlight all the whole cells have 0. But instead of doing it column by column, I just highlight all the columns I want, unit price and unit cost. Then go to conditional formatting, highlights, then equal to 0. Then, oops, I have about 2 of them, right? So what should we do to this that have 0? We don't, since I'm not part of their business strategist, I might not know, but here they gave us a sample in the lab. I told that all zeros should be entered 1,252 USD. So we should enter 1,252 USD. We don't know why they put that. That is business related. Don't forget, in data analysis, you need trade knowledge, you need the statistic knowledge, you need programming knowledge, which is that using analysis. It's either using Excel or any data analysis tool. And also you need the business knowledge, which is called domain knowledge. You cannot analyze data that you don't have the business knowledge in. Because if you want to give value, you have to understand the business they're actually doing, right? In this case, you have been told to save us that stress that we should enter 1252. So I'll just do that. Just do that straight up and change this to $1252. 1252. Right? I'll come here again and change it to 1252. So that has been corrected. All right. Good. Now the next is, let's talk about the find and replace. Now using the find and replace, in this case, let's go to the gender. Going to the gender group, customer gender, I can see MF, kind of. Let's replace abbreviation to full word. Let's say F should be female and M should be male. It will be very straining, very tedious to start changing everything one by one. But we can use the find and replace function here. So in the home tab here, I can click on find, right? You can see here in the editing group. So click on find and select. So here come to find, go to replace. So I'll say find what? I want to find F. I want to replace it with female. Right? So I can just say find next. Let me just apply her, then we'll come back and check for that. Oh, my apologies. I've actually done for every column. I needed to do for only customer gender. I was clicking the wrong column. So I'll click this column, right? Then click on find and replace. Then go to replace, right? F2. Then choose
That's too wrong.
excuse me?
So on
I was
customer
choosing the
age. I mean, man.
sorry, my mistake. Let's go to replace. Then within sheets, want columns. Okay, yeah, I don't want it to apply to all my listing, but oh, let me just close this. Let me just replace all. I guess that should work now. It's not. Okay, let me start from here. Do that again. And I'll use replace all. Good. It's what I've been wanting to do since. Okay, I was just misbehaving. So now I've replaced all F with female. Then I'll do the same thing again. Then go to replace, and I'll replace M with male. And I will say replace all. Now take note that it is actually replacing, because in the spelling of female there was actually male, so it is actually still replacing that female there. So what I will just do is to do that. I could have just done the male before I do the female, but you know, programming actually don't have brain. It is garbage in, garbage out. The system is hanging. Okay. And to female, FEMALE. All right, we are done with that. I guess you're able to do yours. So we replaced all M with male and health F with female. Questions, please. Any questions? All right. Now let's see. In the age group, the last in that lab is spell check. So you might want to do spell check. Maybe do that. Just go to the review and go to spelling and see if there's anything that you need to spell. Okay, from here I don't have any spell error. So as you can see, that's done. Did he give me suggestion? Oh, okay. He said I should correct sales order. I don't want to correct that because he said I should remove underscore. I'll just leave it that way. Now the next is formatting. You can remove your formatting. I can format alignment by just align center, align right, whatever you want. I prefer to just do this. So the next instruction says we should save. Our data is ready. I'll just do save as my computer and I'll put it in my desktop. All right. I'll just name it cleaned data, cleaned data, or cleaned bike data. Right? Boom. Then we are done for the class. Any questions, please? Questions? No questions. All right. Let's call it a day. I've spent quite beyond my budget, but it's okay. We'll meet next class. I'll send your tax to you. Have a nice, lovely day. See you.